Just a quick video to go over lesson 2.1's quiz. Remember, this quiz is over slope-intercept form, and slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So this is the form that tells us the slope, which is in the m spot, and the y-intercept, which is in the b spot. So this first one, first of all, when you have to click here to see your original and then the correct answer. So I picked one that somebody got wrong. I'm just going to let you know how I adjusted your scores, if your scores adjusted a little bit. So if you got this first one wrong, what I looked at quickly is I broke it down to, could you graph the slope and could you graph the y-intercept? So if you could graph both of them, you got the full credit. If you could only graph one of them, I gave you half the credit. So in this person right here, this is the y-intercept at -3. You can see it right there. And over here, they do know that the y-intercept's at -3. So I did give them half of these points. His slope, or her slope, is off a little bit. Look how much steeper that is. Remember, when you do your slope, you go down 5 and over 8 on this one. So that would be, here's the correct answer: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Woo, I went too fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then over 8. So -5, that means down 5 and over 8. Again, this person got half a credit back because they had the correct y-intercept. Question 2, put your slope in the lowest terms always. And again, I looked at this point and adjusted your score if you just didn't reduce the fraction. And some of you, I'm totally fine with it. You put, so some of you had -4 and you put -4 over 1, or you put negative. So if the equation here was y equals -4, and I don't remember what the y-intercept is, but if you had like -8 over 2, I gave you a point. If you had -4 over 1, I gave you a point. So I went back and adjusted all those. So again, if your score changed a little bit, you'll know why. And then I gave you half a point for the y-intercept too. So you had to be able to see both of those to get a full point. So again, I adjusted. So if you go back and look at, this is the answer. Remember, when you click this is going to show how you answered it. Okay, that's the correct answer sitting in there. So go back and look. Did you miss the slope, or did you miss the y-intercept? And then if you miss the slope, why am I missing the slope? Again, I gave you credit if you just had it in a not reduced fraction. Question 3, I just put it right here. Question 3 says, just what is the slope of this line? A lot of you did this. -3x. Technically, I gave you the point. Be careful, because in the future I probably won't. The slope is just the m, so it should just be -3. So if you go y equals -3x plus 7, remember your form is mx plus b. Here's your y-intercept, so you start at 0, 7. And then this is your slope at -3. Notice I never say the x. Remember, I said the x is a variable and the y is a variable, so never put that in with your slope. So again, I gave a point if you had the -3 there. Question 4 was a very widely missed one. So what I decided is I made it out of 3 points, these top 3. This bottom one, I know we don't talk much about. I did mention it a little bit, but I didn't emphasize it, so I just took that out as not even a question. The rest of this you should be able to do. You should have marked B is true, C is true, and A is not true. So again, these are now going to be 1/3 of a point. That's why we have some funky thirds and sixths. So this one is a false, this one is true, and this one is true. If we go through it really quickly, remember, slope intercept, you have to find the slope first. Just do it the way it sounds. Slope intercept, slope first. So you're going to use y1, y1, x2, y2. And then remember, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this is -4 minus your y1 is 0. And then x2 is 2 minus your x1 is -1. So -4 minus 0 is -4. And then, 2 minus a -2 is 4. And again, that's what we're talking about, reducing this fraction. So -4/4 turns into your slope being -1, which is why this top one is false. Okay, your second part is where the y-intercept is. So remember, once you find the slope, you're just going to pick one of these 2 points. I'll just pick the first one here. So y equals mx plus b. And then remember, you're looking for b, so that's the unknown variable. So you're going to plug everything else in. So my y here is 0 equals, I just found my slope to be -1. The x of that point 0 is -2. And I'm going to add b. So now we're just going to solve the equation. So 0 equals -1 times -2 is 2. Add the b. And then you're going to subtract 2 on both sides. I'm going to squeeze that in. So b equals, because these cross each other out, b equals 0 minus 2 is a -2. So the question is, the line intersects the y-axis, which means the y-intercept at 0, -2. That's correct. And then the equation, of course, is the last step you should take. Again, y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form. Y is your variable. M is just your slope number, -1x, and then plus, and then this time it's a -2. So normally I just go -2, but you can put plus and -2 if you want to. Simplified version, mathematicians are lazy. We don't always put this 1 in front of here. If there's just an x, we know it's just 1x. If it was 2 x's, we'd put a 2. So we're just going to ignore that. And -x minus 2. So that's why C is correct. So again, this is 3 points, a third for each of these. So that's why some of your scores look different. And then the last one, number 5, that's just a simple, I gave you the slope, I gave you the y-intercept. You got to put them into, here's where your slope should have went, here's where your y-intercept should have went. Hopefully this helps. If you didn't do so well on the quiz, remember you're striving to do well on the test. It's not a very long unit, so we'll have a test over these different forms of equations of the linear function. Have a great day.